What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us again for another training. Growing up, I shared a little bit about my story in a previous video that we did, but when I was growing up, my family often had canned spinach. I don't know if you've ever had canned spinach, but it's absolutely disgusting. So as I was growing up and I got older, I pretty much never had spinach because that was the only way that I thought you could have it. And because of that, spinach being a veggie, I didn't really like asparagus or broccoli or Brussels sprouts or kale or all these different types of, like, especially leafy type of veggies. Um, but I just didn't end up having a lot of them because I had this kind of aversion to it. And probably like me, you knew that growing up, veggies are important. Like, it's preached to you from childhood onward. Um, but for a long time, I just avoided them, partly because I didn't know how to actually make them in a way that I liked. So I have a question for you. We have a question for you. Have you ever avoided or been afraid to try a certain vegetable? Here's why we ask. Today, we're going to talk about how to make veggies lovable. So if you've got a veggie that maybe you've been afraid to try or you've had in the past and haven't liked, hopefully we can give you some cool ideas on how to try something new.
Yeah. Yeah. And trying something new sometimes takes more than one try. I don't know if you know this, but research actually shows that it can take 3 to 4 times of trying something to actually start to like it, from something that you maybe originally didn't even like, vegetables included. So we're going to give you a simple creative process to go through this. And the first step can be the most challenging in this process, but steps 2 and 3 will make it fun and exciting. So let's jump right into that.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay, so the challenging step number 1, choose a vegetable that you want to try, or maybe that you have tried and haven't liked in the past. Vegetables can range in their level of bitterness. So spinach, asparagus, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts are definitely less bitter, while kale and collard greens are a little more bitter. Although that there are definitely some vegetables that are even more bitter than those two. So step 1 is simply to pick a veggie that you want to try. I would suggest something to start with on the less bitter end.
So not so challenging, right? Just got to pick one. That's pretty easy. Okay, step 2 is probably something that you've never really thought of before, and it's selecting a few complementary items that you might enjoy to have with your vegetable. And I'm not talking about side dishes necessarily, but there's a few ways that you can choose these different complementary items, and they kind of come in categories. So the first category, it might be a specific spice. Maybe there's a certain flavor that you tend to like more, like crushed red pepper or ginger or black pepper or garlic. There's just a different spice that you think might spice it up enough in a way that you would like it. So that's one category. Another category might be using an ingredient or a complement that's a little bit more sour. So like a lime juice or a lemon juice. Those are a couple of our favorites. Or maybe you use a vinegar of some sort. Okay, so some type of sour complement. The third type of complement is it's more of a salty type of complement. So like salt obviously comes to mind, but other things that you could use would be like olives or Dijon mustard. That's one that you really enjoy. Mm-hmm. So picking like 2 to 3 different complements that you might want to include with whatever vegetable that you picked, because they can create a harmony with the vegetable that you're having. Right?
And depending on how you cook it.
Yeah.
So step number 3 is, once you've got your veggie, step number 1, and you have your complementary items, you're going to want to cushion them with a sweet option or a fat option. So as a sweet option, you might pick something like honey or berries, oranges, or maybe maple syrup. For a fattier option, you might choose olive oil, cooked bacon, chopped walnuts, sliced almonds. Butter also works as a really great fatty option. So don't worry though if that seems like they're going to add a lot of calories. It only takes a little bit of this fatty cushion to balance out the bitterness. So it's not a cup of oil or a pound of bacon, although I'm sure there's certain YouTube videos that show how to make asparagus delicious with bacon, with a pound of bacon, but that's not what we're advocating for.
Yeah, a little bit really goes a long way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got your veggie, you've got maybe 2 to 3 complementary items, and then you've got 1 to 2 cushion items. Now comes the actual cooking and the prep. So what we're going to do, there's a lot of different ways that you can prep vegetables that are really simple and easy. Like anybody can do it. And regardless of what you choose, there's just a couple steps you always want to do. First is just make sure that you wash the vegetable thoroughly after picking it up from the grocery store, the farmer's market, wherever you got it. And then if you're going to cook them, make sure to chop them into equal sized pieces. That's going to help them all cook the same amount, so you don't have some pieces that are like hard and crunchy and others that are soft and easy to digest. Okay. So we're going to give you 4 different options on how to prep your veggies. First one is pretty obvious. It's raw. It's really simple. You just basically cut your veggies up the size that you want them, stick them on your plate, and then whatever complements or cushion items that you chose, you just put them on top. So this strategy, raw, works great for spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale, all sorts of those things. Okay, so raw, easy option. Second option is probably
also works really well if you just want to make a smiley face.
Yes, with carrots and we like
Kevin
doing
likes
that.
to do that.
I'd like doing that. Okay, so option 2 is probably my favorite way because I feel like it really brings out the color and the flavor of whatever you're eating, and that's steaming your vegetables. So it's really easy. All you got to do is put your vegetables in a pot in a single layer on the bottom, and put about 1 inch or so of water in there. And all you got to do is cook it on high for like 3 minutes or so, and then garnish with whatever complementary or cushion options that you chose. So this works really great for, in particular, broccoli and asparagus. I love having those steamed. They're like some of my favorite things. Just like I said, the color comes out, the flavor comes out, and it makes like really fibrous veggies like broccoli just easier to enjoy.
Yeah, and actually, Kevin talked about at the beginning how he grew up on canned spinach. If you liked canned spinach but are looking for maybe a healthier option, steamed spinach was actually my favorite snack as a kid. So my mom would just put like 2 big handfuls of spinach and steam it, and then I would eat it like that, and it was great. I loved it. I don't know. I was a weird kid, but I also grew up to eat very healthy foods, and I enjoy them. So I also enjoy them different ways too. So steamed spinach would be another really great option.
Yeah. So what's option 3 and 4?
Option 3 would be sauteing. So this option is really great for lots of veggies like Brussels sprouts, Swiss chard, broccoli, asparagus, kale, and spinach. There's the spinach again. Just rinsing the veggies first and then putting them in a single layer in a saute pan, drizzling them with a little bit of cooking oil of your choice, and cooking them on medium-high for about 10 minutes. About halfway through cooking, add your salty or spicy complement or your sweet cushion. And if you're using a sour complement or a fat as a cushion, you can add those after you're done cooking as a garnish. So just a little fancy cooking technique for you there.
That's probably my second favorite way.
Yeah. We really like sauteing, mixing sauteed with raw. Like making a really good salad, I think. Big bed of like fresh raw greens and then a bunch of sauteed veggies, and then you choose your protein. Like if you eat meats and you really like grilled chicken, like put some of that on top of sauteed vegetables and then a big bed of fresh raw greens. It's amazing.
And add some really good texture if you like different kind, like some crunchy, some chewy. Yeah, it's great. Okay, chewy chicken, I guess. Saute your chicken. Okay, so option 4 for how to cook your vegetables. This one is something that most people aren't familiar with. We don't particularly use it a lot, but it is a great way that you can prep your veggies, and it's called braising them. So it's the last option that we're going to talk about today, in part because it takes the longest. So braising works really well for Swiss chard, collard greens, and kale. So basically, all you got to do is take a large pot, put all your veggies in a single layer on the bottom, just like with the other strategies, and then you're just going to drizzle it with a little bit of cooking oil, and then your spicy complement. If you chose a spicy complement, you can put that on there, or your sweet cushion, put that on there as well, along with enough water to submerge the veggies about halfway. So like if this is your how high your broccoli sticks up, you're going to fill the water up about halfway. Okay, so then all you do is put it on low heat, cover up the pot, and it's usually going to take like 15 to 45 minutes. So you want to make sure that that the veggies are still firm, like they're not falling apart with this. And depending on what you choose, there's going to be a different level of firmness, so you
Right.
cook it for a different period of time.
So Brussels sprouts would take longer than spinach.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one where you'll probably want to keep a little bit closer eye on it as you're making it. And then once it's all done, your veggies are all done, you can garnish it with either the sour complement, like the lime or lemon juice, or the fat cushion if you want. So what we're going to do now, like we've shared with you, picking your veggie, picking your complements, and picking your cushions, and then a few different ways that you can prep your veggies. Now we're going to try and give you just a few quick sample ideas that you can try tonight or for lunch. Okay, so here's a couple just super quick samples that you can try out. Kale. Choose kale as your vegetable. This is one that a lot of people kind of shy away from, in part because they don't know how to prep it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so hopefully
we talked about that on a different training.
Yeah, we did. So we're not going to talk about it again. Go watch whatever other training it was
Yeah.
that we did.
So we can't give you the name of because
Yeah.
we don't remember.
But choose kale as your veggie. Use tahini and olive oil as your fat choices. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to share another option?
Sure. Using asparagus as your veggie, and then garlic as your spicy complement, feta cheese as a salty complement, and lemon as a sour complement.
Ooh.
There's a combination you probably wouldn't have tried otherwise.
Yeah, that sounds good. You should try that.
What else?
Okay, so you could try broccoli, maybe with some balsamic vinegar, or like olive oil, or as a fat
Maybe
cushion.
both, yeah.
You could use both.
Probably both.
Probably both. And that actually works really good for salads too,
Mm-hmm.
as like a dressing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one last one. This might be one that you've heard of before. Maybe you've never tried it, but you see it every now and then. It's choosing Brussels sprouts as your vegetable, and then using bacon as a fatty cushion, and sauteed onions as a sweet cushion. This one's awesome. We'll have this sometimes at like family holiday gatherings, and so good, so good.
So good. Remember, just a little bit of bacon though.
Just a little bacon.
Not a whole pound. Okay, so here's a quick recap of all of that, and then some homework for you as well. Step 1, choose your vegetable. Step 2, choose 1 to 3 spicy, sour, or salty complements. Step 3, choose 1 to 2 sweet or fat cushions. And 4, I guess, cook it with whatever method you'd like and enjoy it. So that's your homework. Pick a vegetable. If you've avoided it in the past, or maybe you've tried it only one way before, give it a different way and try it that way. And give it a couple times to try it and see if you start to actually like it and get some better nutrients in your diet. So remember, it can take up to 3 to 4 times to start liking something if you're going to like it, if you once didn't. So don't be afraid to do that. And remember, as always, you're only one step away.